He was the heart of a generation, the soul behind the screen, and the voice we all grew up with. But when Malcolm-Jamal Warner tragically passed, one person said nothing: his wife, until now. What she reveals isn't just heartbreaking, it changes everything we thought we knew. Behind the fame, the legacy, and the smile was a man carrying secrets, fears, and silent battles. For the first time, she's telling his story, the real story, and trust me, it will leave you breathless. Stay with us, because what you're about to hear will shock you, move you, and stay with you forever. She had always been a mystery. Malcolm never shared her name publicly, never brought her into the spotlight. Their love story existed away from cameras, away from headlines. They had built a life in privacy, raising a daughter, nurturing a love that didn't ask for attention or public validation. And when he passed, she remained silent. No interviews, no statements, no funeral posts, until now. Today, she breaks that silence, not for publicity, not for sympathy, but because, in her own words, the silence was starting to hurt more than the truth, and in her voice, trembling yet steady, we hear the side of Malcolm-Jamal Warner that the world never knew. This is the story of the man behind the fame, and the woman who loved him enough to protect the parts he never shared. Their first meeting was not on a film set or at a glamorous party, but in a quiet bookstore in Silver Lake, Los Angeles. He stood in the poetry section, thumbing through Langston Hughes. Wearing a hoodie and glasses slightly askew, she was searching for something by Audre Lorde. Their eyes met over the bookshelves. She recognized him, of course. Who didn't know? Theo Huxtable. But this wasn't the star from the screens. This was a quiet man clutching a paperback like it was sacred. When she dropped her book, he looked up. Langston, overlord. He teased with a crooked smile. She laughed, disarmed. It was an ordinary moment, yet something in it stuck like the start of a song neither of them knew they were about to write. From there, everything happened slowly. Coffee, walks around Echo Park Lake, long conversations about music, black art, spirituality, healing. He rarely spoke about Hollywood. He didn't want to talk about red carpets. He wanted to talk about meaning. He told her early on, "This part of my life, this love is the only thing the world doesn't get to touch." And she agreed. For years, their love existed off the grid. No Instagram posts, no talk show appearances. Just soft laughter behind closed doors, handwritten notes on the fridge, and late-night conversations lit by candlelight. Friends and family knew, but to the world, he was a man without a partner inside their home. There were no awards on the walls, no framed magazine covers, just shelves of books, scattered guitars, jazz records, incense, and journals. He wrote constantly on receipts, on napkins, on pages torn from notebooks, not for the public, but for himself, for his daughter. "I want her to know who I really was," he would say. Not just the character, not the image, but the man. He was spiritual. He meditated, burned sage, believed in energy and ancestors, in a universe far larger than we see. But he also carried a weight. Late at night, he'd open up about being typecast, about rooms that only wanted the version of him they'd seen on the Cosby Show. Sometimes he told her, "I feel like I'm the people the one the world remembers and the one I became." He never wanted pity. He never stopped creating. But beneath his calm, there was ache. Despite all that, there was joy. Real, messy, beautiful joy. He danced in the kitchen, cried during movies, made pancakes like it was a performance. He sang to their daughter every night, long past the age when lullabies were needed, and when she got sick, he was the one who sat by her bed, reading stories, whispering prayers. Their daughter had no idea who he was to the world. Not until one day, she held up a DVD and asked, "What's the Cosby Show?" He just chuckled, "Just something I did a long time ago." Still, she began to see it the way strangers looked at him, the whispers, the recognition. But to her, he was just her father, her safe space, the man who brought her books instead of toys and taught her guitar chords before bed. That sacred piece began to fray in the months before he died. Malcolm had been pushing himself, juggling poetry events, directing, and preparing for his daughter's first school performance. He smiled through it, but his wife could see the tension creeping into his shoulders. So when he suggested a vacation to Costa Rica, she agreed immediately. The beach was quiet, the ocean warm. For the first time in months, he seemed at ease. He danced barefoot in the sand, played music while they unpacked, cooked eggs in the morning sun. "I needed this," he whispered to her that first night, but in his eyes, she saw something else. Something unspoken. Then came that morning, July 20th. He woke early, made coffee. Their daughter ran ahead in her swimsuit. He watched her with awe, as he always did. "Let's go down before the sun gets too high," he said. They walked to the beach just after 8 a.m. The waves looked calm. He held their daughter's hand, waded into the surf. And then everything shifted. A cry, a current, a shout from the shoreline. The riptide came out of nowhere. Later, they'd say it was invisible. Powerful, it pulled him under in seconds. Surfers rushed to help. Tourists screamed. She stood frozen, helpless, watching the ocean steal the man she loved. They brought him back to shore, performed CPR, called the medics. But his chest never rose again, and just like that, the world tilted. There was something she hadn't told the authorities. Not because she wanted to hide it, but because it didn't feel real at the time. Just before he entered the water, he had looked back at her. Not a glance, a look. Long, knowing. Like a goodbye he couldn't say out loud. And there was another thing. The night before he died, something was different. She could feel it in the air, the stillness, the heaviness, the way the moonlight hit his skin like it was trying to tell her something. She woke up around 3 a.m., reaching out for him in the dark, only to find the space beside her empty. She got up quietly and walked through the villa, her footsteps soft on the floor. When she reached the patio, she saw him sitting there alone, bathed in silver light. Journal in hand, his eyes were focused, his pen moving steadily, deliberately. She stood there for a moment, watching the man she loved as he poured something onto the page, something he couldn't speak out loud. Finally, she stepped forward. "What are you doing?" she whispered. He looked up at her with that familiar smile, gentle, tired, thoughtful. "Writing the things I haven't said yet," he replied. His voice wasn't heavy, it wasn't dramatic, but something about it clung to her, like an unfinished song or the echo of a farewell. The next morning, he was gone, after the accident. In the confusion and chaos of emergency responders, foreign hospitals, and lifeless phone calls, the journal vanished. It wasn't in his travel bag. It wasn't left behind at the villa. It wasn't found with his clothes. She searched everything twice, the nightstand drawers, the coat pockets, even beneath the mattress. Nothing. It was simply gone. Maybe the tide took it. Maybe he had hidden it. Or maybe, she later thought, he never meant for anyone to read it. Maybe it was his final offering to the ocean, to fate, to silence. In the days that followed, the world roared with grief. News stations ran tribute reels, his smile flickering across screens in black and white. Old co-stars posted their heartbreak. Fans shared grainy clips of the Cosby Show and poetry slams, where Malcolm-Jamal Warner had bared his soul, his words now echoing with new weight. But through all of it, she remained silent. Reporters called, publicists begged, friends reached out with condolences and memories. She responded to no one. She curled into his sweatshirt, its scent already fading, and buried herself under the weight of loss. Her phone rang endlessly, then not at all. Their daughter was kept with family, safe, shielded from headlines and hashtags, protected from the noise. But inside their home, silence stretched like a second skin. It clung to the walls, seeped into the furniture, and wrapped itself around her grief. It was everywhere. It was unbearable. But it was all she had left. And then, one night weeks after the funeral, after the flood of sympathy cards had stopped, she opened the drawer on his side of the bed. She hadn't meant to. She was looking for a charger, but her fingers brushed against something solid, the wooden box, his vault, as he used to call it. She had never opened it. He used to joke that it contained all the thoughts to honest for daylight. Inside were scraps of paper, torn poems, incomplete verses, personal reflections written on napkins, receipts, sticky notes. And in the center of it all, folded gently, like a secret, was a letter addressed in his handwriting. "For you." Her breath caught. Her fingers trembled as she unfolded it. The ink was slightly smeared, like it had been written through tears or in a hurry. And it read, "If I go before you, don't protect me with silence. Tell the world who I really was, even the parts that weren't pretty, even the parts I tried to hide. Because if I'm remembered at all, I want it to be real to the world." Malcolm-Jamal Warner was a legend. To her, he was everything. And now, through her courage, we see the man behind the legacy, raw, real, and unforgettable. If this story moved you, help keep his truth alive. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more untold stories that matter. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a voice that dares to speak the truth. Thanks for watching.